A smartphone in the year 2022, under 6 inch, and it's a flagship. Is this even allowed? I think Asus said yes, and here I have the Zenfone 9 that I want to unbox and have a first look. So let's get started. So here we have the box, and it's the first time I'm unboxing an Asus phone. So yeah, I want to celebrate it a little bit. And as you can see here, it has a big 9, so it tells us it's the Asus Zenfone 9. Compact size, big possibilities. And we have the Asus 9 here, Asus logo here, and here again. Probably some SIM EMI numbers there. And here Asus again. So let's open it up. There we go. And we can see here compact size, big possibilities, the slogan of this version. And what we have here is probably some documentation, a SIM eject tool, and a case. So not one of those TPU cases, of course instructions as well as the EMI numbers. And here we have really a hard case, a white hard case, because I ordered the white version, and it's really hard plastic, so it's a bit better than those TPU cases. So let's put this aside and let's get to the phone itself, which we have here. And really it feels very compact, and yeah, this is the white version, looks a little bit of cream. But what do you have? What else do we have here? So let's check out, how do I get this open here? Probably like this. Wow, we have accessories here. We have a power plug, power adapter. Whoa, this is a big one. It doesn't even fit in this one compartment. European plug, of course. But this one, according to the specs that I read, it's an Asus branded one, as you can see here, has only 33 watts. But why is it so big for 33 watts? And maybe you can read it or find it here in the specs as well. It's too small for me to read right now. But it should be 33 watts because this is what the phone supports. But it's USB-C, so we have a Type-C to Type-C cable here, which might be also very handy for a few people. Get an instruction how to take out the SIM with the SIM eject tool. This one should have, I think, dual SIM, but no microSD card possibility. Let's get it out of the wrap. Ooh, this feels, first glance, very, very interesting material. It's like, yeah, not sandstone material, but it feels like a little bit of rubbery material here. Not really rubbery, it's like this materials that, paper material, I think that's called, and another company is doing. It looks a bit futuristic, as you can see here. Asus Zenfone, it has the 09 here and some markings here on top of on the bottom of the camera bump. And this might be very interesting because we have like a 50 megapixel main IMX766 sensor that is housed into a 6-axis gimbal, as well as an ultra wide angle I think 13 megapixel shooter here. And of course I will test out those cameras, especially the gimbal camera interests me the most. And then we have the screen here, and it's a very compact phone, as you can see here. And we have a top 13, I think, megapixel camera, 32 megapixel camera maybe, that should provide autofocus and 4K recording, which is pretty interesting. Then on the bottom we have the SIM tray. As you can see here, the SIM tray is going in and out, just like my focus, in a curve. So they have the SIM tray bended here in a curve. Microphone, USB-C, I think it's 3.0, speaker, and another speaker is in the earpiece. And then on the side we have the power button / fingerprint reader, as well as the volume rocker. And you can see here also it has some markings. What is written there? Zen Touch, I think it is written there. There you can see it, and it allows you to do some touches here, like touching the button for unlocking, but you can also swipe it for perform certain actions as well. Antenna bands around the device, and it's a very compact device. Easy to hold, as you can see, and easy to reach the power button. It's also very easy to reach the volume keys, yeah, I can reach everything without much of a change of my hand. And yeah, the camera bump, as you can see here, a little bit larger, the top one, because it houses the gimbal. Let's slap this case on top to see how this looks like. Yeah, the case, oh, nice animation and welcome. It's not a boring welcome screen only. And yeah, nice sounds and effects, definitely. You can see here the lip is raising over the camera, so it's protecting it. This side is open, so you can get to your gestures as well. And the bottom is also open, so yeah, this side is protected. And it's also lifted above the glass, so it can protect it as well. There's no screen protector on it as far as I can tell. So yeah, I will just finish this first assistant and will show you a bit about the operating system, and then a first quick camera glance. The first assistant allows us to set up the face recognition, because we have face recognition here and we have a fingerprint reader on the side, as I showed you, so you can set up those without issues. The device asks us if you want to use the day, the light mode, or the dark mode, so we can choose between light and dark for the timing. I like the light mode better in light conditions, and I choose light mode. It gives us an introduction to the gestures as well, and there's a system update available directly, and I will say later here for now. So we check the system. It looks very, very clean. We have like the Play Store, we have Chrome, we have the camera system here. It gives us an app drawer by default. It's a very clean, minimalistic like system. Android 12, we have the Google folder here with all the stuff. I like that the one-handed stuff is really working well, because you can see that all the icons are like sorted down here instead of popping up in the middle, which makes it super easy to, I cannot swipe down like on Oxygen OS. But at least I can open it up and have to do this then. There's a gallery application. We have Netflix installed. We have some tools installed, which I would say are necessary, like tips, maybe not. Asus data transfer is there. We have a sound recorder. We have the weather app and a calculator, as well as contacts and clock. We have Netflix, Instagram, and Facebook, which I would consider bloat. Let's check out before it installs all the updates, how it looks like in terms of storage. So we have the 128 gigabytes model, and we have roughly 30 gigabytes US 29, as you can see here. And yeah, probably we can deinstall, remove some apps like Facebook I really don't need. They have the uninstall option, and I can really uninstall Facebook and Instagram if I don't like them, or Netflix. So this is possible, which is pretty cool. And it has also a modified about phone screen, which looks pretty cool, where it shows us some of the data here that we have. Like we have a 4300 mAh battery, for example, 120 Hz AMOLED screen that hopefully is turned on by default. Android 12 here that's running. Zenfone 9 is the device name. 8 GB of RAM, storage 128 GB. The processor, it states here, is 3.2 GHz. It's a brand new Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which should perform a little bit better than the 8 Gen 1 in terms of thermals and not throttle so much. But on this small device, you can see how large my hand is. This device could get a little bit hot, I would say. But yeah, I will test it out, and yeah, we'll show you the cameras now. So this is now recording with the front-facing camera of the Zenfone 9, 4K 30 frames per second. Yes, this is one of the flagships under €1,000 that can do 4K 30 on the selfie cam, which is pretty awesome. It was not so far off with the megapixels. This one is 12 megapixels. I think I said 13 in the beginning, and then the 32. I just read the spec sheet once, and then I try to memorize all the stuff. But you know, if you test so much smartphones, you don't know everything. Anyway, you have good sound because you can plug in external headsets, because it has a 3.5mm headphone jack. I forgot, I think, to show it to you when I was unboxing it. Anyway, you can see here my microphone is plugged in. If I tap on it, you should hear something. You have to set recording from the microphone, though it's not doing it automatically. And the cool thing about this front-facing camera is not only that it has 4K, but also autofocus. So I can do something like this, show my LG G8X ThinQ here, and it should be able to focus on it. Even if I go a little bit closer, it should be able to focus on it on this camera system and so on, which is pretty awesome. So you can use this for vlogging as well, which is, I think, a very fantastic thing as well, because it is a very compact phone, and yeah, ideal for vlogging then if you have 4K 30 and you have good autofocus. And I think low light capabilities, maybe not the best. My face is quite smooth. Maybe there's also some kind of buttoning effect on, I don't know. And yeah, we will have to see how this will look like. So now I'm recording with the hyper steady mode on the Gimbal 6-axis gimbal camera. It's only 1080p 30 by default, and I think it has some focusing issues, but I noticed on my first recording that I am sometimes out of focus and the background is in focus instead of me. Maybe I have to get a bit closer, but it's cropping in, so it's using EIS plus this gimbal stabilization to have an ultra smooth experience on this device. If you're on hyper steady mode, you can sadly not switch to the other lens, though what you can do is stop this recording, then you switch lens, and then you are able also to use hyper steady on the ultra wide angle. That is also 1080p 30, I think is the default. It can go up though, 4K 60 and even 8K 24, but not on this ultra wide angle. I think 8K is only supported on the main camera. What do you think about the quality here of this camera system and the microphone that I'm using, by the way, with a wind noise filter? It has 3 options there: HD, 3D surround and wind noise filter. So I have to try it out later in my camera review. So let's check the sound system, which is pretty interesting because, yeah, we have the bottom firing speaker, we have this earpiece that can also fire up stuff, but the interesting thing is like the bass is coming out of the earpiece most of the time. The highs coming out of the bottom speaker, at least more highs on the bottom speaker and more bass on the earpiece. They're pretty loud both, and I think in general I heard louder, but the sound is okay. Of course, bass is a bit lacking, but listen for yourself. Talking about the sound, Asus is hiding some interesting settings in the quick toggles here. Like, for example, we have not only screen recorder and calculator that might be very useful, but also audio wizard, which allows us to check the Dirac audio options. And we have like dynamic option here. We can set it to music. We can tune it the way we like it. We have an equalizer here as well, where we can tune the various different frequencies as well. This is very, very interesting and gives you lots and lots of options to tweak the audio, especially also for the headphone jack that we have here on top, to your liking. So pretty cool what Asus is doing here. Otherwise, we have some other interesting quick toggles, just like, for example, we have a QR code reader. So if you want to quickly read a QR code, it's built into the quick toggles, as well as hotspot. A torch is sometimes useful, a calculator is sometimes useful as well. And we have also a screen recorder that we can use, as well as switching system modes, where we can switch even to high performance mode to get most out of the system. Speaking about the system performance, you can see it's working fluid. The only thing that I notice sometimes is a bit of stuttering when you're downloading a lot of applications. And I think also when you unlock the device, this might be due to the screen refresh rate that is set to auto, which switches between 120, 90 and 60 Hertz. And if you set it to 120 permanently, then the whole device runs pretty smooth and no hiccups whatsoever. I told you about the battery. It's not the largest, but it's a small device, small screen. So even if you have 120 Hertz active here, and the screen brightness I think goes to up to 1000 something nits, it should be still okay. But you can go to system modes and can go to durable or ultra durable. You can configure it even, and here you can see the things for durable. For example, set the refresh rate to 60 Hertz, force screen sleep up to 30 seconds and so on. So you can set and tweak those modes even if you want to, and have your battery usage visible here. And you can see it's 47%. I don't have a SIM card inserted, but it gives me like 10 hours remaining time, which is pretty cool. We have a low battery power saving option here that we can turn on, like it goes automatically to the ultra durable or durable mode when it reaches a certain percentage here, which is pretty nice. And of course it can also detect battery draining apps and notify you about excessive drain of apps, and auto start manager allows you to even turn off certain apps here for this, and background app management can be turned off or on to save a little bit more of your precious battery. When it comes to styling options, Asus allows us to change the wallpaper in style, which opens up its own Asus Manager. We can change the wallpaper to whatever we like to have, so we can see also preview screens of this, and you can see they have quite a few variations of the number 9 here, as well as some other wallpapers that you can choose here if you want to. And you also have the Android 12 color options, where you can choose the color palette based upon the wallpaper, and here the wallpaper colors. It allows us to customize the color balance, the white balance, and the color temperature of the whole display. So we have original, optimal, natural, cinematic, standard, and so on. So you can set it up to your likeness. Set the refresh rate. Let's just like set it to 60 Hertz to see if you can enable. Yes, low brightness DC dimming can be enabled now. So for those people having issues with this, you can do this. You just have to switch to the 60 Hertz. Animation speed. So you can really set up animation speed. Usually it is like something under developer options, but Asus allows us to set it up here. Power button menu style. We can have a classic one. We can have a colorful one, which looks like this. We have a calm one or an elegant one. So this I never saw before, that you can customize your color button. So let's go to colorful, for example. Let's saved it. And yeah, this is how it looks like in colorful mode. Setting up the smart key, which is like this home button, not home button, the power key and / fingerprint reader. So you can set up like a voice input for pressing twice. So if I press twice here, the Google Assistant will start up. Quick access I can turn on. So you can see here, there's a nice little animation. It tells us I can just swipe down, and let me do it with the other hand. And then I can see my toggles here, swipe up again. And yeah, pretty interesting idea, I would say. It's turned off by default. Probably it will, if you put it in your pocket, be accidentally activated, so maybe not the best. It's such a small screen that I can do this here anyway, so I don't really need this, but it's a nice addition for people with smaller hands. Edge tool, which probably I don't even see. There it is. It's the edge tool. Sidebar position allows us to set and switch to certain apps by clicking on it, and it's opening up as a floating window. I can go and say, okay, I want an icon. I can go into full screen if I want to, and yeah, I have various different options here to edit this and add some new applications to it, which is pretty interesting. Back double tap, so you can tap here to do certain things, like what I want to do. For example, let's go in here, turn it on for screenshot or flashlight, for example. Let's go back, and yeah, we can turn on the flashlight via double tap. Pretty interesting idea. We have some screen recorder options, just like, for example, we can set the resolution, the quality, the frame rate, and so on. I think this is also quite unique, at least I didn't see it on other phones. And screenshot options, as well as pocket mode for touch sensitivity, so it prevents screen from reacting accidentally while your device is in your pocket. The glove mode, if you have gloves on, and so on. So they have a stock Android experience with certain elements added to this that make the device run very, very fluid, and I really like it, I have to say. So far also the haptic feedback is working fine, and yeah, first experience and first impression of the Zenfone 9 is pretty good. I will test it out. I will do a camera review, especially of this gimbal kind of camera, and we'll show you a little bit more of the Asus Zenfone 9, so be prepared for further videos to come. And I think it might be very interesting for some Sony lovers that like a headphone jack, that like to have a good camera and a compact, straight, flat displayed phone, even though it has like a punch hole here with a strange kind of silver ring around it. But yeah, might be very interesting for some Sony lovers that are waiting for the Xperia 5 Mark IV to arrive to take a look at the Asus Zenfone 9.